Hello everyone, welcome back to League of Legends DFS Esports for January the 15th slate, day number 2. We'll go ahead quickly jump into the recap. Um, Series number 1, Team WE ended up taking it in 3. Again, this is one where we did kind of see it going either way. Obviously the odds had it very close, kind of going either way as well, so not too surprising to see that this result. I think FPX definitely had the ability to win this third game. I think they just kind of played it a bit poorly. Obviously, I thought this was going to be a battle between two pretty low end teams, and it did end up coming through. I think WE definitely showed some things. They showed a good bit more positive things. I think, especially game number 1, they looked very good. Game number 2, they kind of just got casseted. I don't know how much stock you really want to put into that game. And game number 3 was a bit closer, but just some big mistakes from FPX. I think the FPX team just looked really bad in my opinion. I don't think WE are quite that bad, but nonetheless, I think we were a little bit on the wrong side of this one. Not just watching the scoreboard. I think WE were definitely the better team in this series. So that's kind of what it is. We move on to the next one. Not like it gets much better, but nonetheless, IG got the quick, clean 2-0 over AL. Obviously, we were on the other side of this one. Um, I know I wasn't alone on this AL side, so I don't feel too bad about it. Uh, but Nenny just pulling out the rides twice, that's clearly like kind of his go to mid lane pick. YSKM looked pretty solid. Gideon on and Wink were like kind of there. I don't think they had to do too much special. I wasn't too impressed with either team. I'm not too impressed with either squad from this one. Although it's definitely looking like AL played very poorly. There's no denying that AL definitely looked like a bottom 2, bottom 3 team in this series. Maybe they're going to come back and show us something a little bit different, especially harder. Hopefully, we can get pins coming in sometime soon, maybe after the New Year break. I'm not sure, but either way, uh, just pretty disappointing from AL. I thought this was going to be a pretty decent year for them, but one series in is looking very poor. Again, IG are still kind of who they are, who we thought they were. They were just a little bit better, especially with the role swap from Nini to mid lane. That situation was a little bit interesting. Gideon pulling out the Viego seemed like a kind of a comfort thing, but it worked pretty well for them. It helped punish AL's overextensions and stuff pretty badly. So, pretty decent from IG. To get this one together. But the main event was GDG BLG. I think this is the first one we kind of actually got pretty right. JDG did end up kind of coming through with taking that game 3, but it was a very close series nonetheless. I'm still pretty happy with uh, kind of the prediction or the expectation that we set out here. I just said it was going to be close, and we had JDG as like a minus 360 or something. So getting a close series when you have like a +2 something underdog ticket, you'll take that every day of the week. Things slightly could have gone our way, but they didn't. It is what it is, but both these teams are looking very strong. I think obviously very early on we're going to see some other teams play, but as of right now, I think these are definitely top 3, maybe top 5 teams. Maybe BLG's a slightly bit lower, but this was very close between two very good teams. Um, so definitely pretty interesting, but pretty inspiring. And I think we had a good read on where both these teams are. I think GDG is still probably number 1. BLG might be like number 3 or something. They looked very good in this one. So yeah, pretty decent. Actually, not a decent day. We didn't end up getting any of the series right. We were 0 for 3 in trying to get predictions. Of course, it's not fully accurate. We did kind of get this last series right in a way. Um, as long as we're kind of getting where our expectations are, if we can kind of see how a series will go, then obviously that's a pretty good sign and a lot better things to come. But especially Ben for BLG, that's a note as well. He looked very good individually. So that's something to keep in mind as well. They're probably looking to play towards that top side of the map a little bit as well. Sorry guys, my throat is a little bit unforgiving today, so I'm gonna try to go a little bit quicker today and stuff. So yeah, pretty solid day one from a viewer standpoint, but obviously not from a betting standpoint. We got kind of wiped across the board, so we move on. So the first game up is LGDRA. This is a pretty interesting one. We're gonna go back to something we did beforehand, something that I used to kind of do a little bit more, and it's something that can. I think it's a decent exercise, and we're gonna play guess the lines. I'm gonna try to see where these lines are, and we're gonna go from there. So LGD RA. Obviously, in my opinion, I think RA are going to be the slight favorite, but I actually like the LGD side in it at that plus money, assuming um, assuming that they are going to be the underdog here. I think RA kind of continuously get a little bit more respect from books. At least they did last year. And I think LGD are probably going to be written off a little bit as like a very bottom end team, although I don't necessarily think that they are. So I'm going to guess RA minus 150. But I'm going to be taking the LGD side nonetheless. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. OMG RNG. This one's very tough because we have Tang Yuan coming in for RNG. And then obviously we have Bunny in for support. Obviously, if you guys don't know the whole Ming situation, Ming is in what's kind of like a contract lockout. He's kind of refusing to play until he gets paid. The team is coming out and saying that he will be signed. Don't worry about it. But nonetheless, they're playing with Bunny instead of Ming. That's definitely a pretty big downgrade either way. But I'm not too worried. Obviously, they signed Angel as well, but it looks like this is probably the team that they were practicing with, so that's what they're going to be rolling out to start. From OMG side, they're going with Jerry as well. I think they signed PP God. Yeah, they have PP God on the team, but they will be going with Jerry. Again, that's probably a situation where they've been practicing with the players. They're going to continue with that to start with. But the rest of the team is still the same. It's still the whole same OMG team. In this one, it's going to be pretty hard to guess the lines on this one. I'm really not sure how much respect RNG is going to get, given that they lost kind of the two kind of franchise cornerstone faces of the team in Xiaohu and Ming. It's going to be interesting. I think RNG is going to, again, kind of be a slight favorite, but I'm going to be looking to the OMG side here. I would guess RNG minus 150, minus 175 or something, just because of how the books will rate them. But I like OMG here. I think I think this is going to be a good year for them. I think these two teams are pretty close. I could definitely see this one going 3 either way. But I think this is going to be a good year for OMG. Obviously, we get Shanji versus Breathe. That's going to be pretty fun. I think you could definitely make a case that RNG have better pieces kind of where they matter. They have better top and better jungle, although I'd argue Shanji may be better than Breathe, but that's definitely debatable. We don't know that much about Bunny, so I mean Jerry's not that good either way. Aki is definitely worse than Wei. There's no question about that. Cream is probably the only clear victory, I think, in terms of like a head-to-head player-wise. So that's tough, but I just think the cohesion and stuff. I know it didn't work yesterday when I was talking about FPX, but I'm not going to change kind of my thought process and stuff after one day. So, we move on either way, and I think OMG is probably going to be the side. But again, I think it's probably going to be like a slight favorite for RNG. NIP Ultra Prime. This one's going to be a little bit interesting as well. I'm very surprised. I'm very intrigued to see where this one ends up going. Again, we have like a lot of moving pieces here. NIP, formerly V5, they lost a lot of pieces. Obviously, they have Xiaolong Bao. There's kind of backup players coming in. They have Invincible, Dream, Photic, Zhou. Obviously, on Ultra Prime, they have interesting cast of characters. They have Ning and Baolan from that 2018, maybe 2019 IG team that ended up winning Worlds. They have Harry in top lane, King mid, and obviously Doggo AD carry. So a pretty interesting composition of players on the Ultra Prime side. I would have to imagine V5 is the reasonably sized favorite, maybe like minus 200 or so, just because we really don't know what we're going to get from this Ultra Prime team. So I think overall these are three pretty close series. We have RA minus 260. That is very shocking. RNG minus 250. That is pretty shocking. And then the smallest favorite is actually NIP. That's very, very surprising. Yeah, those are pretty surprising odds, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I think my ideas are going to be pretty clear cut from here, but we'll talk about them either way. LGD RA. I know RA got the improvement dropping off iBoy from their team, but they still have Southwind, Strive, Leon. Like, they're still not very good. That's not to say too much about the positives from the LGD side anyway. Like, they have Meteor coming in, former BLG jungler who was he was a very solid player. Meteor can kind of be summed up as to like how Shun was with IG last year. That's how most of his career felt, where he was like a very good, solid, aggressive player, but his team didn't really do much. I don't think this team is going to be able to support him that much either, but I think they'll be able to do enough, especially in this situation. I'm not too impressed with this RA team. I think this is going to be a very close game, and I think this is probably two bottom five teams, and one of them is like a sizable favorite. I don't think there's really too much more to be said there. And obviously, I think Hai Chao showed some solid stuff last year. I still think Meteor is a pretty solid jungler. The only like problematic position here you could argue is Cube in the top lane. I think Cube is probably a good bit better than Xiaoshu, but nonetheless, I'm not too scared really of this RA team with anybody. So I just think this is a little bit close. This is too close, and I just disagree with these odds like pretty heavily. So I'm gonna go with LGD in this one. I just think this is a pretty similar story for this RNG OMG team. I know that they still kind of have that core of Breathe, Way, and Gala, and I think that's why they are still getting a good bit of respect. But I think losing when you're mid and support, which are arguably like two of the top 3 most important positions in the game, it's definitely jungle, mid, and support. Those are definitely the more impactful positions. It's going to be tough. I think there's going to be growing pains for this RNG team. And I think that's just the fact that the OMG have had it kind of bend together. I'm not too scared of this one. Again, this is one just where I think, RNG probably should be the favorite. I agree with that. But I think minus 240 is a bit aggressive. I'm going to be taking the OMG side. I think this, again, similar to the last one, it's just too close in my opinion. I could definitely see this one going 3 as well. I just disagree with the odds here. Again, I priced both of these games at minus 150. They're both minus 250, so that's a pretty big difference from where I believe these games are to where the books believe these games are. So I'm going to be going with OMG as well. I think I would be pretty surprised if one of these two underdogs did not end up winning. If RNG and RA both got the job done, I would be pretty surprised. So I'm going to be diversifying there a little bit with those two underdogs, and I'm most likely going to be pairing them up with this favorite here in game number 3. Although Ultra Prime does intrigue me, I don't know if this matchup is particularly the one to do so in. Obviously, NIP are they're kind of bringing up their backups in a way. We obviously saw Xiaolong Bao be replaced with Karsa. We saw Dream come up and take Rookie's place a good bit, I believe. Was it Rookie or Icon? I can't remember. I think it was Rookie. V5 Rookie. Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, we have Invincible, who played a little bit for Rich. The new paces, obviously, is that bottom lane there. Xiaolong Bao, V5, match history. So yeah, Rich Carsey, Photic could be big odds. So Photic is the only one here who's still kind of the same, but obviously Xiaolong Bao still played sometimes anyway. So I think Invincible has been on this team for quite a while. yeah, he's been in the V5 system his whole career. So, uh, nonetheless, I think this is a team that's still kind of good, has decent cohesion. Obviously, Dream played with them last year as well. Um, when Rookie, I think, was sick or something like that. So I think they have some level of cohesion. They're kind of just promoting up their lower end players. I do obviously think those are downgrades, but obviously Gio as well, coming over from Top Esports. So uh, I think they have some solid pieces here. I'm kind of surprised that the odds are this close. To be honest, um, I think when you're bringing in like Ning and Baolan, who haven't played for a few years, you're kind of asking a lot. I don't think this NIP team is like that bad. Like they're gonna be pretty middling. I think they're definitely gonna be able to beat the lower end teams. I think this Ultra Prime team is definitely one of the lower end teams. So yes, that's pretty interesting to be honest with these prices. Let's look at when Ning and Balan played last. So yeah, LPL 2020s. So that's 2 years off. Balan did end up playing with IG for 2021. So he took a year off. So it's in 2 years for Ning, a year off from Baolan. Then obviously Doggo, we have Xing and Harry. Xing coming up from FPX plays and Harry coming up from the Ultra Prime Academy. So EDGU or FPX Blaze. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of just think this one is a relatively one-sided. I'm not too excited for this one. I think this is probably going to be one of the slower games. I'm not loving this one from a DFS standpoint. The V5 Ultra Prime game or NIP Ultra Prime game. I mean, I think the RA played pretty slow. I think OMG RNG is probably the big one you want to get the most exposure to. I think this is probably going to be the most action-packed one. Although I don't think this one's going to be necessarily that crazy either. I would definitely rank it OMG RNG and then LGD RA and then probably NIP Ultra Prime. I think this is probably going to be one of the slower ones, but I think this is going to be I think this should be the favorite that comes through. Most likely, in my opinion, I think NIP should be the biggest favorite on this slate. I'm a little bit confused by these odds, but nonetheless, I like NIP. I like pairing them up and mixing them with the OMG and LGD. I think one of those two underdogs should win. Maybe if not both of them, who knows? I think I'm probably going to end up making a lineup that mixes LGD and OMG. Just leave off this slow game, in my opinion. I think that's a good strategy as well, but that's, lower stakes, more of a dart throw type of thing. Combining two underdogs like that, obviously pretty risky, but nonetheless, I'm just I think I explained my positions and stuff pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. My throat's kind of killing me already, so I'm not gonna overdo it. I think hopefully that is enough for you guys. If you guys would like some more information or have any questions or something, let me know. Either tweet me or put a comment. I'll be able to respond to all that stuff. It's just my voice is kind of going away. I'm not quite 100% yet, so yeah, I think that'll be it. I think, that makes sense. Let's check pricing, make sure nothing's like too crazy here. NIP, it's like the smallest favorite. That makes sense. Looks like Tangyon's, you get a price discount there. I think I saw, Invincible has the price discount. So yeah, that's kind of it. Aki is extremely cheap. I guess he's the underdog. I think that'll be it. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Hopefully we can go ahead and turn it around after a pretty miserable day one, but we got the BLG game was pretty close. I think there's some building blocks there. I don't think we were completely inept. So that'll be it for me tonight. I'll thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys all again at similar time tomorrow. Thank you.